All right, welcome to Fulk It, Season 2. This is my second episode. It's going to be one of these shorter ones, but I wanted to talk a little bit about something hot off the presses, and I thought it would be a great lead in to the rest of the season and things that I want to talk about. So let's just dive right in. Recall, we are talking about AI, all things generative AI, really, and in particular, how the stuff makes it onto the internet that can influence us. Because remember, we're protecting our brains, like we're in defense mode. Every time we step onto the internet, we're on defense. Every time somebody's, telling us about this great thing that AI does, probably doesn't. They probably were online and got marketed to. They probably were at work and got marketed to, and it doesn't do those things. So we're defense on both. We're like, we've got a double front war now. AI constant push propaganda, online influence tactics that are attacking us everywhere we go. Facebook, Instagram, threads, Twitter, everywhere we are under attack. It's a deluge, a fire hose. So we're not just dealing with parsing information that's coming at us. We got to play defense. We got to cover up like we're a boxer. We're going to move, bob and weave, bob and weave. So that's what we're talking about today, bob and weave. Recall, we are in the middle in the US of this political shutdown, government shutdown, and there is a threat hanging over many people's head that they won't be able to use their SNAP benefits, which are the benefits that allow them to buy food. And these are generally poorer people like myself, and they are unable to afford, the cost of living. A lot of people work. I think the great majority are working poor. So there are children involved as well who are getting fed through these programs. Like it's very important, these programs for a lot of people in this country. All right, so that's the backdrop. It's also a political firestorm. So we've got on one side people who want the government to stay shut down for whatever reason and seem unconcerned that people will lose their SNAP benefits, and they complain, well, they should work harder. Okay, that's the political nature of it. And then there another side that say we should of course be feeding people because we have food and we have money. We're just in the middle of the shutdown that's artificial. Like why are you punishing people for that? Okay, so that's where the country is. And this topic, the story that people tell about the topic, can easily be manipulated. So in our defense mode, right? Defense mode. Whenever we're reading some story like this, we have to understand immediately people can manipulate us. This is a great story to put out on, whatever media you've got, podcast, Fulk It, blog posts, social media, television news, radio station. This is a great divisive story that you can put to get emotional response. Now, some people, all they want is the emotional response. They don't even care which side they're playing. That's how they get paid. Emotional response drives listening. Other people have an agenda and they are on one side of the political fence or the other, and they're trying to push their agenda. Of those people, some of them are, your neighbor who got some weird idea that they're going to push their, ideology out onto everybody else. And I use neighbor in the loosest sense here. I don't mean next door neighbor. I don't mean same neighborhood. I mean, they're you, essentially. They're not well funded. They're not a group. There are groups, though, that are more than just your neighbor. A bunch of your neighbors get together. They get funding. They have corporate sponsorship. They have people who are rich and donate, and they become an organization, a think tank. They register their name. They build a presence. They have like issues that they care about, and they can hire marketers or do it themselves putting stories online in media. There really is no difference between TV and online. It's media. And they can do this. Like, this is all okay. People are doing it to persuade. Then there can be people who are not even in the country who love it that we're fighting, love it that it's a divisive issue. They want to make our country weaker by dividing. That's them too, right? Like, how do you differentiate between people outside of the country who band together and people inside of the country who band together? It's tough to know. Tough to know. We used to have dedicated parts of the government working on this. I don't think we do as much anymore, but that's another story. We'll save that. So now we're looking at this, right? And we're still defense, right? Like, okay, we know this story is ripe for somebody making stuff up. It's ripe. It's perfect. It's like a fruit that I can take off the tree and chomp into. And we come to Facebook because Facebook is the cesspit of the social world right now. It's like the dredges of humanity is Facebook. I know some people are still there. I know some people have groups like my HOA group still stuck in Facebook land. They're there, but it's where you go to put out divisive stories that are going to be liked and shared by other people who love sitting in the muck. So in this case, we're talking about Snap and Snap benefits. Conveniently, there's this great tool Sora 2 that comes out that lets you make videos that are completely fake. You just type some words and sentences in and it outputs a video. Guess what? People used in this Snap story, this divisive Snap story that was ripe to just be picked off the tree, they used Sora and generated fake content, fake videos that look like Snap was causing reactions in different communities. In one of the videos I saw, people were looting Walmart because they didn't get their SNAP benefit. Completely fake. This one made it to the Fox News channel. I read about it in a Yahoo story. So now we have Facebook is the one that hosted it. Tens of thousands of views for this thing. Fox News talked about it on air. This is all media. Yahoo, an online news story about it. So it spread. We had generative AI video content created on a divisive story that was easy to manipulate people because it was so polarized. Fake content picking one of the sides pushed onto online that made it into television that people saw and then got reported on again back online in the Yahoo News. So information is moving everywhere. And it was completely fake, this story. Similarly, I had another person not send me this link to about the Fox News talking about the Sora video that appeared on Facebook. They sent me a link to a different one on Facebook that somebody had removed the Sora watermark, so I can't be sure which generative AI tool created it, but it was another clearly fake video. Clearly fake. Very similar, though. Both of these cases, it was content with racially charged content because it was one race of people who were doing something in response to losing their SNAP benefits. So you can already imagine in your head, right? Like, this is polarizing. It's meant to get emotional response. It's meant to make certain people mad. It's meant to make other people validated. I'm right for supporting a shutdown. I'm right for supporting people not eating. I've got the moral high road because those are the type of people that are getting the benefits. So not even caring about this story. Well, of course I care about the story, but leaving the story aside, we're just analyzing the information flow and how we bob and weave through this jungle, right? Our brain is this jungle. We've got to protect it because If we see that video, and I did, it worked. Like, it doesn't matter that I know that somebody did this on purpose and who those somebodies might be. It doesn't matter. I saw the video. The video walked through my brain and made a path. Remember our very first episode? Our brain is this raw jungle. And when you learn or see something new, you walk a path. And every time you walk a path, you trust that idea more and more. We can't even really help it. So I have to do work in my brain to walk different paths beside it and say, well, you know what? We know this story was fake. We know people were primed and ready to do this just to offset it. And if I'm tired or I'm not as aware, then that story makes its way into my subconscious, because I will be asked about this years down the road. And somebody will say, hey, remember that time when, the government shut down and people, didn't have their SNAP benefits? And I'll say, yeah, but that video is going to pop into my brain because all those words are associated. They're all close together in my brain. And so now I'm going to see that, even if I don't want to see it, even if I know that the video was fake, it's still there. It's still getting lit up. So this is the defense mode, right? I want people to distrust stories, especially the ones that are politically divisively charged, ones that malicious actors out in the world can use to influence you, to try to play you like a puppet. I don't want to be a puppet. I don't want you to be a puppet. I want everybody to have the wherewithal to understand this. But then I also know we're still going to get manipulated. Even if you understand, like you take this to heart and you put up your defenses, you're still going to get that video, because I got it. People send it to me. I avoid Facebook like the plague. I don't want to see it. I avoid Fox News Channel like the plague. Have for a long time. It's full of propaganda. I don't want propaganda. I still got it. Somebody sent me a Yahoo News story about it. It showed up on, I think, my Threads feed as well. I saw somebody on Threads post a story about it. I had to go investigate. So then I was like, well, now that the damage is done, I want to talk about it in my podcast, because everyone can think about this, my 10 viewers. You can think about this in terms of your brain was a jungle. Somebody took a divisive issue that would be emotional, and that's not emotional for 100% of people, but for a lot of people, it is. That means they can get a lot of likes and clicks. That means the algorithm behind Facebook is going to reward them and show it to even more people. So you get a divisive topic that's political, that can divide people online in Facebook with not needing a lot of seed clicks. You don't need to, you can just put this out there and Facebook's going to take it the rest of the way home for you. You might have groups, you might have fake accounts that can originate it. You might have real people that are happily originate it, because like I mentioned, these can be domestic groups. Your neighbors get all together and they set up some Facebook groups, and they're the ones that decide they're going to share this content because it matches what they think. And now, instead of your neighbors just, doing their thing and, talking to people one-on-one, they're banding together, creating internet accounts that allow them to share to a much wider audience. That's playing the game. So whether you think about this the way Renee DiResta described it, with freedom of speech and freedom of reach, or you think about it like, I don't think it's okay for people to be able to game Facebook that way. Facebook should make some rules. Like, I don't want people who are smart enough to figure out how to game the algorithm to get more impact and hurt people's brains. But here we are. That's where we're at. So we bob and weave. We learn defense. But defense isn't enough. And I think I mentioned that a little bit ago. It's not enough because you still saw it. Just like, you're going to see it like I see it. You're going to see things after you start looking for these obviously fake stories, or purposely, misleading headlines that grab your attention on these divisive topics. Once you start seeing it, you can't unsee it. And it's walked a path in your brain, and it's going to fire off even if you don't want it to when you hear in the future other stories like it. But there's another element to this that is also bad, because we've seen people push this story now, and we've set up defense, right? Like, we're going to bob and weave. But that story is one of many. These actors online 24/7, 365 days a year. Every opportunity that somebody has to push their story is being taken. The online information space is a battle. It is an ongoing war. And people have money to pay other people to do this as a job. And you and I we have jobs. I wish I had a job, but we have a life that isn't purposely going online to try to spread this content. Other people do, and we have to bob and weave. So even when we learn, some defense here, some kind of like, how do we, navigate this jungle? Let me duck, let me bob, let me step back, right? Let me roll like this. I'm gonna occasionally throw a hook shot. That some people call inoculation. It doesn't last. You can give me a shot against this bad information about this story, one day, 1 week, but it wears off. Like, my defense is going to wear off over time, because every day I log in, every day I get text messages, every day people are sending me stories, every day I see something show up in my timeline that's algorithmic. My daughter sends me a TikTok. I start swiping TikTok. Next thing I know, I'm seeing fake stories all over TikTok that are divisive. So you can't beat that. You can't beat that with one day defense. You can't beat that with one podcast. It's impossible. That's why when we are talking about this, when we're thinking to ourselves, all right, generative AI, what does it have to do with this online information battle stuff? You just gave people who are trying to do this another really good tool, an excellent tool. Now it's a whole new strategy to simply put out a fake video that looks like what this one about Snap looked like. Like, hey, let me put out some fake pictures. Let me put out some fake videos. It's more noise in the system. It's more things we have to think about. And I have a limited amount of brain energy. There are times of the day when I am tired. My dog, he loves to walk. He loves to sniff. By the end of the walk, I'm like stressed out because he has been sniffing for an hour and I want to go home. I've got less patience. I've only got so much mental energy. In the morning, I'm like happy and I'm like easily dismissing, this fake stuff that's all over, and I'm not paying attention. By the end of the day, it can sneak in. My defense, I get tired, So this is another really good weapon. Generative AI online provides people who want to put out fake stories, divisive stories, truthful stories where they don't even have pictures or video to go with it, but they're true, but they're divisive. This is now another tool because imagery, videos stick with you better in some cases than the text. You reach different audience with the video than the text. You make it look, even if it's exactly recreation the way it happened, if it was divisive, truthful, divisive, drew an emotional response and validated pre-existing biases, you have done your job in a way you couldn't have done before without generative AI. So with that, I'm going to stop. I got to walk my dog. He's over here laying in the shade. But just think about it, right? We're going to talk a lot more this season about the mechanics of how to build influence campaigns. We're going to talk a lot more about how to make these videos. Maybe we'll talk about how to make them. That's not that hard. Type some words into the box. And we're going to talk about using repetition, using emotionally charged identity type of stories, and how we can, bob and weave, bob and weave. We're going to lose in the long run if it's out there. So the best bob and weave is to shut the laptop. Fulk it.